League of Legends has over 1 million monthly active players, and I am not one of them. So let's change that and enter the world of League of Legends. After creating an account on the website and downloading the client, let's launch League of Legends. I get the code of conduct, the most well-respected rules and regulations for the average League player. After all, League players are perhaps most famous for, quote, respecting their teammates. Accept these terms, and I'm in. We are then treated to a slick cinematic, complete with an outdated logo. Then we are immediately thrust into the tutorial. Once the tutorial starts, we are seamlessly dropped into the action. The game has extremely simple but effective tutorial prompts for how to play. Now is a good time to mention my experience with these MOBA style games. I come from a long lineage of casual DOTA playing nearly 5 years ago. And while I might be a bit rusty, I'm no stranger to the Quare controls, and I'm still pretty slick with my clicks. But as to the giant axe-wielding murderer barreling down the lane, I'm as green as they come. Luckily, my minions come to my rescue, and the game tells me which buttons to press, meaning I win handedly. Now here's something that's really cool. The tutorial lets you try out a bunch of different champions. This champion fires off a big laser beam. Take note of this beam. This one makes fire circles. Not sure about this one. And this one attacks really, really fast. We are instructed to destroy this enemy tower, and the overlapping UI makes me overestimate my odds, and I end up getting punished. Now, the objective of League of Legends is to destroy towers and push down lanes towards the enemy base and destroy their nexus. So, the game spawns in some allies, and we get to pushing. I like how well telegraphed the towers are. You can always see its full range, and the color of the ring changes when it's shooting and if it's shooting you. Truly impressive detail. On the other hand, the tutorial completely omits whatever this building does. But soon enough we get to the Nexus, destroy its defenses, and get the victory screen. Which immediately boots us off the game before I can even click continue. Now on to something I don't like. The game prompts us to, quote, unlock our first champion, selecting from the 5 that we could playtest in that short opening mission. First of all, I'm not a fan of competitive games that arbitrarily restrict who you can play. If someone beats the brakes off my team, I'm gonna want to try him out. Secondly, the choice is completely meaningless, and we'll get these guys for free in the next few hours. Regardless, I go with Master Yi and go next. This time we spawn all the way back in our own base at level 1 and can allocate our skill points to learn and power up our abilities. Basic RPG fanfare, each time you level, you get 1 point to allocate, with a special, more powerful ability you can unlock at higher levels called your ultimate ability. Then the game immediately breaks my ankles by sending me forth down any one of the lanes, but then a small warning indicator pops up and directs me back to buy items. And while I'd love to talk about the lovely shop interface, the indicator is a bit of an unintended oversight, and the tutorial won't teach us about the shop until the third and final tutorial section. Now the game lets us wander down any lane to start, which is fine, but my history in the MOBA space has me wondering if a duo mid is what the Riot devs were really hoping for. Now the bots in this game are quite the spectacle. My opponent seems perfectly content getting shot at, and my ally does this. And don't worry, my bot ally made it very clear that the strange behavior wasn't a bug, it's a feature. From here, I mess with my camera a bit, finding out how to unlock the camera, letting me freehand the isometric camera like our RTS forefathers intended. The rest of the section goes smoothly, as my other allies and enemies hide away in their own lanes, and I push for yet another victory screen. That still auto-closes. Okay, third and final tutorial. This one, the actual shopping tutorial. Once in, we can open the shop interface with P, bit of a weird key, but I really like this interface. Look, I know that there are probably hundreds of items with tiny nuances between selections, but having these big panels for suggested items, with their general item roles as well as their impact against opposing champions is mwah, chef's kiss. They also have important items like boots, which let you navigate the map faster, and wards, which single-handedly win games, front and center on the screen. The game teaches you about the 2 main ways to earn gold, either through harvesting minions by delivering the killing blow, or harvesting your opponents by throttling them through the screen. After earning enough gold, the game tells me to recall by hitting B, and after a long channel time, we return back to base. After gearing up and returning to lane, some warning about void grubs pops up, but that's above my pay grade. With my newfound items, I dominate my bot opponents, slowly working my way to their base, before linking up with my team and destroying their nexus, officially ending the tutorial for League of Legends. From there, I am sent back to the main client interface with the simple instructions to play League. At this point, I'm extremely skeptical, and fumbling around the menus only heightens my fears. A quick look at my collection, and I have exactly one champion I can play. Expanding the roster shows more than 100 of them to learn, and they haven't taught me about these unlockable spells, although I did see and use them in the last few minutes of the third tutorial. Worst of all, when I do look through a few champions, I find their pages to be very lackluster. I mean, their abilities don't have any sort of numbers attached. I mean, this guy gains attack, healing, and move speed. How much? Nobody knows. But whatever, I'm not worried. I have years of latent DOTA experience somewhere up here. Surely I have an advantage over these other newbies. So I queue up. Summoner's Rift, 5v5, quick play, and I get met with this. What am I looking at? I have two champions boxed up below. One is Master Yi, another is Jinx, a champion that I am very quite certain I don't actually own. They also have little titles, Hail of Blades and Lethal Tempo, and tiny little symbols I've never seen in my entire life. And don't worry, hovering over them doesn't do me any good. But okay, if League of Legends thinks I'm ready, then I'll go ahead. So we wait for our lobby, 14 seconds the estimated time, and we immediately get into a game. And suddenly, the quick play interface makes a lot more sense. It's more or less pre-selecting heroes and matching afterwards. That way you don't have to bicker for mid lane like in a normal MOBA draft. But something seems a bit off. First of all, these names are a little too AI generated, but perhaps more alarmingly, my teammates all idle until their programming forces them to scuttle off in synchronized fashion. These are, without a doubt, bots. But let's focus more on me, because looking through my item shop, we can see 3 new starting items, all labeled Jungle. That is because, although League of Legends has not done a single thing to inform the new player, each champion is generally played within a specific team role. You have champions designed for mid lane, top lane, bottom lane, support, and my champion, Master Yi's specialty, Jungle. Now, I don't know if this section forces everybody to play Master Yi, or if it's just because I picked him, but it ends up working pretty well. Since the main tutorial already let you fight down lanes, now we can explore the rest of the map, the jungle. Through arrows and little icons on the minimap, the game ushers us seamlessly through the jungle experience. Now, the game never explicitly mentioned these bonus spells, but since I caught them earlier, I read through them and find Smite, which seems to be a jungle-specific spell since it nukes the stronger minions found in the jungle. I follow the paint by numbers jungle course, even dropping down to the low hundreds a few times. After clearing all 6 camps, the game completely lets go of your hand, and I take the time to investigate, first finding this thing, which when destroyed shoots out a shimmering light which gives vision. Then I find this little dude who I kill and completely disregard, until I come back and find that killing it awarded me with a little river totem which gives speed. I go through the motions, shopping, killing jungle guys, and also finding the impressive details page on my abilities, which only makes the client ability page much more frustrating. I mean, even cheap mobile games can get that one right. Check that video out too, by the way. Anyway, I get into my first team fight of my LoL career, and get slapped up by a bunch of bots. Hey look, it's that laser again. I take out my frustrations on the bots and run into this thing. That's neat. I think I'll really like this thing. I run around helping my team get kills and even try killing some of their jungle, but get caught. Oh yeah, I really like this thing. The rest of the game pans out smoothly as I start running around pushing and helping my team. I also manage this sick juke, but unfortunately only the bots were around to see it. At some point we get the message that the other team has killed the Chem Tech Drake. No idea what that is, but I do end up finding it much later on. Not sure if it's useful 24 minutes in, but it does go down very easily. From there, it's just a few more pushes and we manage to seal off the game. Now unfortunately, the auto-closing client manages to crash my recording software, so I'm gonna have to report these results by proxy. I was given new champions, Miss Fortune, the tutorial gun girl, and a choice of one of 3 champions, but when I check my collection, I still only have Master Yi. And after some snooping around, turns out that you have to open them from the loot tab. I'm not really sure why. Anyway, on to the next game. I swap out Jinx for Miss Fortune as my quick play champion, but end up on Master Yi again, which is unfortunate as both my new champions are bottoms, and I was hoping to try a new role, but whatever. Unfortunately, with the same queue time, same suspect names, and same bot-like behavior, looks like it's another bot match, so I get to testing. First off, the game sends me to the south side jungle camps first. Not sure why. I clear out my camps and kill the enemy top champion, and with my top ally gone, I decide to farm up while he's away. I'm not sure if this is considered good or bad team play. While killing jungle, I finagle with the ping system since I know how abused this radial wheel can get. Otherwise, it's business as usual. I do find this weird trio camp being attacked by my opponent and clear it out, but otherwise the game goes about as expected. Clean up, Nexus down, good game. Now usually I target about 3 hours of in-game time to build these one-day first impression videos, but I really want to get a game in with real live League players, so hopefully my next game can deliver, and immediately I get some good signs. First off, my queue time jumps from 14 seconds up to over a minute. Then my loading bar does this weird up and down dance as my loading time nearly quadruples. The names are still suspect, but then this happens. Feeding first blood into rage quit. Oh yeah, it's game time. I clear out my camps, and then my mid player loses a fight and immediately pings me to come for help, and after another pushy ping, I pull the trigger and manage to secure the kill. I put down a ward here and catch a glimpse of one of our opponent's wards, and even though I can't see it and I know I'm not going to be pulling off any sneaky moves here. Eventually I run into one of my opponents trying to sneak kills out of my jungle, but quickly find myself outmatched. But even though I don't know what this character can do, the big bold channeling text clues me in enough for my gamer instincts to kick in, and I get a really slick dodge. So we decide to call it even. Now I'm going to be honest, I'm no Turing expert, but I'm really struggling to figure out if there are bots in this game, because when I visit the bottom lane, this enemy Caitlyn does this. But then the enemy Pantheon does this. I get back to farming until my team's top laner, also a Pantheon, I'm not sure what role this champion actually plays, gets attacked by 3, so I spring into action, and riding that high, I go rotate to mid, where I try another maneuver, but this champion has a trick, invisibility. And I think both me and my teammate have no idea what's happening. We're standing in different spots, she pings over here, but then they appear over here. It's a bit of a mess on our part. Also in the mess, our bot lane champion vents a bit of frustration with the 2v1 lane, so I go clear the air. Next I get chased around, waiting for my teammate to notice, so we get into a little fight. I maneuver around, but once I see the second enemy, I kinda just go all in. At this point, we're up 5 to 23, and it only gets worse. I'm also almost certain some of these players are bots, but would a bot be this slow on the sticks? Now I'm doing pretty well for myself, but not well enough to win this 4v5. Luckily, I'm not even the best player on my team. We trade some tough fights, and I, say it with me, make some space down at bottom so our team can push into their base up top. And after another 10 minutes of footsies, we managed to push into the base, and I managed to win my first, maybe real League of Legends game. At which point I'll be retiring immediately. It's been a fun career, guys, but you gotta go out on top. On a serious note, this bot or not thing is still bugging me. I literally checked their profiles to see if they played other games or not, and if they fooled me, props to you, Riot. And if you watched this far, you gotta like and subscribe. So tallying our final score, snappy, stylish, confusing tutorials, ping spamming within one game, I give League of Legends a only play with your friends out of 10.